Hello, Everyman Prepping here. Hope you're having a great day. And what we have to talk about today is some good news and some not so good news in the food arena, mostly around beef. The good news, we're going to talk about the fake meat out there and what's going on in that sector. And then some not so good news we'll get to after that, talking about some information from ranchers, cattle ranchers, and what they see about food prices and availability coming up. So first to start with, you see here, this is the good news. Fake meat fail. Sales collapse at Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods as 20% of staff is laid off. First thing I want to say here is it's not good news people are getting laid off. That's never good news. We never want to see people laid off. Hopefully they find other jobs. Most of those people getting laid off are probably not the ones pushing the fake meat on people, or not the ones saying that you need to lower your carbon footprint, stop eating meat because cows are killing the world. I'm sure there's some. Maybe we don't feel as bad for those people that are pushing that agenda and have that viewpoint and trying to change the way the rest of us want to live. But I'm guessing that the majority of those people have a job. They needed a job. They're supporting their families. And so, it's never good news for those people to go out there and lose a job. So we hope they get a new job soon. But continue on, it says here, the fake meat industry appears to be in a death spiral as sales of plant-based meat companies, Impossible Foods, and Beyond Meat have imploded. Like I said, good news. I don't support the fake meat. I mean, if you want to eat it, fine, but don't push, like I said, don't push that agenda. Don't tell us meat eaters that we're destroying the environment, that the cows, the cows on this earth are, farting enough to cause global warming. None of that ludicrous stuff. So, I'm happy this food industry is dying. Do I think it's going to die forever? Go away? No, I think they're going to fight back, but it's good it's taking a hit now and that less people are interested in it. This should not be something that is being forced on or pushed to people. But let's continue the good news. It says sales have collapsed. That's awesome. Impossible Foods planned on lay off 20% of its workforce. It says the Redwood City, California-based company has about 700 employees. It says the new round of dismissals could reduce that by more than 100 people. They back in October, they cut 6% of their workforce back then. So the cuts are continuing. Then it's talking about how Beyond Meat's sales fell 22% in the third quarter of 2022, and the company is preparing to similarly cut 20% of its workers. So both Impossible Foods and Beyond Meats are cutting their staff at least 20%. Their stocks are taking a huge hit. We're going to look at that in a second. Sales are down. Great news. What it says here is that supermarket sales fell by 15% year over year this January, and that while orders in restaurants dropped 9% in the past 12 months. Now, they say it's a waning interest, and they poll people, and they say, well, once they try it, they don't want to try it again. They don't want to go back to it. We can come up with, let's look at the stock real quick, then I'll talk about it. So let's see, if we go to the stock here, this is a 1 year, so it's a 1 year scale, and it's for Beyond Meat. Impossible Foods hasn't IPO'd yet. Maybe this will stop them from doing it, but they're not a public company now, but Beyond Meat is. As you can see, for the 1 year, it's down 70%. So that's crashing pretty hard. You can see the high of 61. Today it's at 17. Personally, it could make me happier that this company is failing. So then, we can talk about really quick, why would this be happening, to the fake meat market? Well, first of all, I think it was inflation. That stuff's expensive. Why am I buying fake food, fake meat, when the other meat is cheaper? We're going to go, like I said, get into our not so good news in a little bit, how real meat prices are going to go up, but I think they're still going to be below the fake meat. So I think the fact that they can't sell it to enough people that they need to care enough about farting cows and their carbon footprint to pay extra when inflation is so high and people are already suffering at the grocery store, they're not going to buy it. Second part is, people saying, why should, if it's like meat, why not just eat meat? If you look at the ingredient, meat is natural. It's cow. That's what it is. It's beef. If you look at these ingredient lists on these fake meats, the list is gigantic. It's full of chemicals. It's ultra processed, so it doesn't come across as healthy. They're trying to sell it as healthy. People are realizing when they look at the ingredients list, it's just super processed, glop and slop. So I think that's hurting them. So you got people waking up to that and the high inflation of why not just eat real stuff when it's cheaper than this fake stuff you're trying to make me eat. So I think that's what's happening there. By the way, as we go on to the next article we're going to talk here, I would ask you please like, subscribe, comment, and share this video with your friends and family. And let's check out what we have coming on here this next article. Let's go to this next one here. Let's go to a little bit of bad news. So this is the not so good news. And what we have here is a Nevada rancher warns of inflation isn't over. Americans should prepare to pay more for groceries. We kind of all know that, but this is coming straight from ranchers, so I wanted to point it out. The rancher says prices of groceries, including beef, is likely to continue rise, mostly from their inputs. He says the high cost of energy, feed, fertilizer, along with a decreasing supply of beef, will continue to drive beef prices higher in the coming years. And he's not just talking 1 year, he's talking coming years. You notice that, right? It's just not, this year, next year. This might be a few years. It says here in 2022, beef and veal went up 5.3%, compared to the 9.9% of all food, and eggs at 32%. I think beef might have gone up a little more than that, but that's the numbers they're putting out right now. Once again, he repeats energy, fertilizer, feed were the largest cost to ranchers, this gentleman said. Note that the costs are directly tied to the country not being energy independent. He believes if we were energy independent, which is totally another subject, which is we were before the current administration took over, that all this would be cheaper, and thus your food would be cheaper. And he also cited that things such as drought have forced many families to begin, along with the input costs, but the drought, many families are liquidating their ranches. Kind of like I pointed out in other videos, they're just selling off their herd. They're culling all the animals because they can't afford to feed them, and the drought is killing them, so they're just getting rid of them all. This results in a lower supply of beef, obviously. He goes on to say that there's a 4% decrease from the previous year in the number of cows in the country. There's 28.9 million beef cows in the United States. That's a 4% decrease. And he thinks that these rising prices will last 2 or 3 years. The industry needs to rebuild. The people that liquidated need to rebuild their herds. And then the most important thing is the very last sentence here, which I believe is helpful. He says, we just need some help from the government. We need less regulation, a little more support, and get out of the way. I fully believe that. The government, as we know, most of us believe, fully overregulates us. They're too much in the business of people. And if they would get out of the way, cut regulations, cut fees, cut rules, everything would take off. Everything would be cheaper. But we're not there right now. But what this gentleman says, I fully, agree with that. If the government got out of the way, things would be a lot better. So what do you do with this beef information that's going to be rising for the next few years? Well, I've talked about before, you want to buy what you can now on sale if possible, and then you want to preserve it. You can freeze it, you can freeze dry it if you're fortunate enough to have a freeze dryer, but you can also can beef in all meats. I went through that in another video. I'll put a link to the video I did about canning meats up. I'll put it up on a card somewhere around here. Maybe it's over here. But you can can the meat. You can dry it. You can make jerky. You can do all kinds of stuff. So buy it and preserve it and store it. That way it's cheaper now. It's going to get more expensive. You're saving money. The next thing I think, which is really important, is to get a hold of local farmers. And let's go back to this here really quick. There's a website I found that's pretty good at helping you contact your local farmers if you can't find one. It's called Local Harvest. And the website it's not a .com, it's a .org. So localharvest.org. So you go there, and then you put in your area. I just typed in Nashville, Tennessee here. And then you can search for everything or the whole thing. Farms, farmers markets, by what type of product you're looking for. You can search for everything. But if I put in all Nashville, Tennessee, and then you get farms popping up. And this one tells you he's got organic. This gentleman here is organic, and he says that they have livestock, vegetables, other cattle, sheep, pigs. It goes on. So what you do is you find your local farmer, and when it's time to buy one, you may say, I'm going to sign up for a quarter cow or a half a cow, or a whole one, whatever you can store in your in your freezer and your canning, and you want to get with that local farmer and get it straight from them. They'll probably give you a better price than obviously going to the store. You make a relationship with these farmers. Some of them do livestock and vegetables, so you can shop there for a lot of stuff. And you support your local farmer. They're getting hit pretty hard now, like you said, with input costs and energy. And if they don't have to pay to ship it, to give it to a middleman to sell it, they can sell it direct. That'll help them out as well and help everybody. So that's my recommendation is, stock up, buy stuff on sale, and then find a local farmer. You can use the site I told you about, localharvest.org. See if you can find a farm. Like you said, you'll be able to get out, chickens, eggs, cow, pig, pork, whatever, and also the veggies and fruits, nuts. Find that all locally. I think that'll really help out. So, in summary, once again, fake meat dying. Great news. Not so good news. Beef prices and other groceries are going to continue to go up, but we have a plan for that, and let's go ahead and execute that plan. So until next time, keep your ear to the ground, head on a swivel.